I'm Pam Douglas. I'm the founder of Neuroprotective Developmental Care, or the Possums programs, which includes our NDC Baby Sleep Revolution, or the Possums Sleep Program. Unfortunately, the sleep training philosophies can actually worsen baby sleep and make sleep far more stressful and distressing than it needs to be for families. Let me explain why. Firstly, if babies are placed in quiet, dark rooms to sleep during the day, we begin to mess up that little one's circadian clock. We're putting the little one in a mini nighttime sleep situation, which confuses the cues, environmental cues that the circadian clock is receiving. We won't see the impact of that immediately, of course, but big blocks of sleep in quiet, dark rooms during the day, or even wrapped in the womb-like situation of being in a carrier for really long periods of time during the day, can actually increase night waking over the coming 2-3 weeks because of the impact on the circadian clock. So sleep training, with its focus on big blocks of sleep during the day, can over time actually result in excessive night waking, and indeed even these patterns of waking every 40 minutes, every 45 minutes, every hour for blocks of time during the night. Sleep training also inevitably decreases a baby's opportunities for rich and changing sensory motor experience. And we know that it's rich and changing experience across all those sensory modalities, what the baby can see and hear and smell and taste and feel, skin, changes of temperature, pressure over the joints, vestibular stimulation, all of that wonderful wealth of rich and changing sensory nourishment optimizes developmental outcomes for our babies, optimizes the way those neural templates are being laid down from the first weeks of life. And with a focus on being in the home for routinized sleep patterns, even though parents are advised that this will make the days easier and more manageable, actually causes babies to dial up because they're not receiving the kind of sensory input that they're requiring biologically. So our little ones are much more likely to be grizzling and crying in a low sensory interior environment. That's often then mistaken as some tired cue, and sleep battles can ensue during the day. So firstly, sleep training can cause excessive night waking down the track. Secondly, sleep training can cause a great deal of crying and fussing during the day because the baby's needs for rich and changing sensory motor experience are not being met. And thirdly, sleep training can really ramp up everybody's sympathetic nervous system, really ramps up the worry that we experience as parents. Because if we're advised that we need to be getting these big blocks of sleep during the day, or certain patterns of sleep to optimise sleep outcomes and indeed behavioural and developmental outcomes down the track, if we're advised that to be a good parent we've got to do this, then honestly, we'll walk over hot coals to achieve it, and yet it may not be achievable because of the baby's innate biology. And you can see how parents are then caught in this really painful situation of just trying to do what they're told is the right thing, trying harder and harder to do it. It's terribly distressing. Our anxiety goes through the roof. In fact, anxiety would be a normal response in this kind of situation. And yet, it's really advice that's being given to parents that's not aligned with sleep science. It's not aligned with the latest neuroscience. And actually makes us feel really miserable and anxious and in some kind of battle with our baby. This is why many years ago now, we went back to the research literature and put together an alternative approach to parent-baby sleep. And I'd invite you to have a closer look through our Possums Sleep Program or NDC Baby Sleep. It's the original baby sleep revolution. Go and take a look.